What's going on, my Central Units? It's the Sentiment here, so back again with another classic Summerslam pay-per-view review. This time, we're travelling back to the year of 1999 to review Summerslam 1999 in the Attitude Era. So this show was at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota on the 22nd of August 1999. The attendance of the show was 17,370. SummerSlam 99 drew about 600,000 pay-per-view buys. A massive decline. It's at like 100,000 buy rate down than the previous year's SummerSlam from 1998. Highway to Hell. The main event of that show was Austin vs. The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. SummerSlam 98 drew about 700,000 pay-per-view buys. To this day, it's the most bought SummerSlam of all time. So the commentators for SummerSlam 99, we got JR and The King. So this SummerSlam, SummerSlam 99, this month marks the 20th anniversary of this SummerSlam. Yeah, this SummerSlam, I call it the Jesse the Body Ventura SummerSlam because he was the special guest referee of the main event, the triple threat match for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and Mankind. I'll get to more of that, why Jesse is the special guest referee when they get to the main event later on in this review. So, and also, this show took place a few weeks after the debut of Chris Jericho. Jericho debut for the company, you know, he jumped straight to WCW, appeared on Monday Night Raw, did the whole Raw is Jericho, and that's got to be one of the most top 10, probably the best debuts. Yeah, I said top 10 best debuts of all time in WWE, you know. Jericho debut on Raw, you know. He did like Welcome to Raw is Jericho. He was still continue his gimmick in WCW, with him and Ralphus, but this time with the ring announcer Howard Finkel. Unfortunately, that didn't really pan out. I'll get to one segment on this show before we get to the matches on the show. So Jericho basically was on the top of the Lion's Den. You know, this is later on before the Lion's Den match between Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman. Yeah, Jericho was basically berating the fans, called them fools, calling this show Summer Scam, berating Road Dogg's, you know, his his presentation, his entrance, he kind of berates him because of the fans not really reacting to Road Dogg, pathetic, silent crowd. But that's all little BS, fans liking Road Dogg, in the end, you had Road Dogg says, why do you shut up, bitch, and told Jericho to suck it. And that was it. Yeah, I'm trying to get this out of the way first, so I don't understand why they did this, Yeah, this is Jericho's first pay-per-view appearance. He won't get his first pay-per-view match until the following month at Unforgiven. But, why just book him, because at the time, Road Dogg was not booked, Jericho was not booked, put him in the match, give Jericho his first match, in the company, on this show. So I'm not saying it was bad, but it didn't really serve any purpose, I feel like it just came across a segment you probably see on Raw, but it's just what it is. I think it was a waste of time. That was a waste of time putting Jericho on this show, even though he's not really going to wrestle. Maybe at the time Jericho's got like a non-compete clause. Maybe, I don't know, man. It's just like it's not. I'm not saying it's terrible, but I think he was bashing Road Dogg. He's saying DX sucks. The way he's calling him, is he dyslexic? He cannot spell the word sucker, it's just what it is, he's just like, I think it's a good defection, in the WWF side, since, it's fun, like, on, like, I think it's best since, in 1996, with, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they jump ship to WCW, and then, a couple of years later, Jericho, who's kind of like, you could say a hard act in WCW in 1998, is now jump ship to the WWF side, It's like kind of like a mini invasion. It's funny. Like Jericho's still copying the gimmick. He's still continuing in WCW. This time in the WWF. It's just what it is. And a couple weeks later, he introduced Curtis Hughes. Mr. Hughes. He was in the company before this. I'm talking about Curtis Hughes, but that's just it's kind of pointless. So. It's not a bad segment, but I wish that it just like had no business on a pay-per-view. You spend a lot of money to see matches instead of the segments. People complain over the years of too much wrestling, but I think like a pay-per-view, a wrestling pay-per-view is designed to focus more on the matches than the segments. So anyway, let's get to the matches. So the first match to kick off SummerSlam of 1999. This is for the Euro Continental Championship. D'Lo Brown defending the Intercontinental and European Championships against Double J Jeff Jarrett with Deborah in his corner. So D'Lo won the European Championship against Mideon at Fully Loaded the previous month. I forgot to mention this is the post Vince McMahon pay-per-view because Austin defeat The Undertaker at Fully Loaded in the First Blood match. Austin retains. Vince is no longer gone, but in reality that was in kayfabe. He did came back in September, but anyway, so D'Lo on that same show, D'Lo Brown defeat Mideon to win the European Championship. And then a couple weeks before the show, he defeat Jeff Jarrett for the Intercontinental Championship, making him the first ever Euro Continental Champion. I think he won it. I think Jeff Jarrett won the title. I think it was the day after Fully. I think it was on the same show, Fully Loaded. I might be wrong, because it's been a long time. It's been almost 4 years since I reviewed Fully Loaded 1999. It's just what it is. My memory's a bit faint, but anyway. So, because at this moment in time, Jarrett was doing it. I think it was the start of Jarrett becoming this, guy who's picking on women. He's treating Deborah like shit. You could tell the fans were cheering towards Deborah because of the she was wearing like, I think that was her gimmick at the time, wearing like the bathing suit, that really gave Jerry the King Lawler, heart palpitations, he's orgasming, anyway, so the match between Jarrett and D'Lo was fun. It was a good match, decent opener, good back and forth. In the end, I think it was a distraction, in the end, Jarrett was going to hit D'Lo with the guitar. But instead, out called Mark Henry. He thought he's gonna help his former Nation of Domination teammate, because at this moment in time, the Nation of Domination is gone. It's just D'Lo and Mark Henry as a tag team. They've been tagging for months now. I think since '98. Because they were feuding with Jeff Jarrett. The whole bulk of '99. When Owen was still alive, in the tag team scene. So anyway, so Henry was about to he thought he was gonna hit Jeff Jarrett, but instead he hit D'Lo Brown on the head with the guitar. Jeff Jarrett pins D'Lo Brown, pins him, and Jeff Jarrett becomes the second ever Euro Continental Champion. The reason why Mark Henry turned on D'Lo, because D'Lo's trying to help Mark Henry lose some weight. And by the way, this has set up the next match on the next pay-per-view on Again, and this is leading up to Jeff Jarrett awarding Mark Henry the European title, and that was his first championship in the company. He's been in the company since 1996, so. And then, like I said, D'Lo beats Mark Henry for the European title the next month on Again. And that's leading up to Mark Henry's title drought. He won't win another title again until 2008, when he was the ECW champion, and then 3 years after that, he ended up becoming the world champion when he was doing the whole Hall of Pain gimmick. So yeah, it was a good match. No, I give it 3 stars for it. I don't really do star ratings when I do my wrestling pay-per-view reviews, but it was a fun match to kick off the pay-per-view. Anyway, so the next match, this is a tag team turnover match. Yeah, you heard me, a tag team turnover match, for the No One Contendership for the WWF Tag Team Championships. We've got, Edge and Christian, the New Brood. The New Brood is the Hardys, Midian and Viscera, Droz and Prince Albert, the Acolytes, and the Holly Twins, or the Holly Cousins. My bad. The Holly Cousins, that is Bob and Crush Holly. This is their first pay-per-view match as a tag team. Anyway, this was good. I really enjoyed the tag team turnover matches, or on this, the tag team turnover match. My apologies, on this show. The first 2 tag teams to kick off this match is Edge and Christian and the Hardys. This is revolving around Gangrel, because Edge and Christian was getting away from Gangrel. The Brood is no more. And then you got Gangrel allied themselves with the Hardys, because at this moment in time they kind of ditched Michael P.S. Hayes, the former Doc Hendricks, as their manager. But anyway, this was really good. It was a good back and forth in the first match of this tag team tournament match. Good chemistry between Edge and Christian and the Hardys. One moment of the match, you had Jeff and Edge. They're kind of running towards. They did like a move off, like they're running on the barricades. Edge on one side, Jeff Hardy on the other side, and Edge did like a spear onto Jeff Hardy off the barricade. And don't worry, he'll do it much better 2 years later at WrestleMania 17 in 2001 in that TLC match. When Edge speared Jeff Hardy off the ladder. That was sick. Anyway, so in the end, they eliminated Edge and Christian eliminated the Hardys. I think it was an electric chair and I think it was a frog splash combo onto the mat to eliminate the Hardys. And the next tag team was Viscera and Midian. I think at the time they were part of the Ministry of Darkness. I'm guessing it was on its last leg. I'll get to more later on. But anyway, they eliminated them. You had Edge spear Midian. And then the next tag team is Droz and Prince Albert. I think this was a transformation tag team. It was like thrown together tag team, because at the time Droz was not really doing anything, because at this moment in time the Road Warriors are no longer with the company. So it's really sad. Droz ended up having that career-ending injury against, I think it was in the year 2000 or maybe later on in the year. I'm not too sure. And then it's really sad. Droz is no longer with us. He passed away a couple of years ago. I'm talking about in our current timeline. So, anyway, Edge and Christian eliminate Droz and Albert. And then I think Edge hit the flatliner. I think it was on Droz or Prince Albert. So, moving on to the Acolytes. That is Bradshaw, the future JBL, and Farouk. Yeah, it was good. And then there was one botch. You had the Hollies. I think they kind of running towards the ring. I'm guessing they miscued. I thought not the match is over, but like they kind of missed their cue for whatever reason. So, the Acolytes eliminate Edge and Christian. Bradshaw hit Christian with the clothesline from hell. And then the final 2 tag teams in this match was the Hollies and the Acolytes. Like I said, this is the Hollies' first pay-per-view match as a tag team. I think Crash debut. I think this is Crash Holly's first pay-per-view match. In the end, they kind of argue. That's what the gimmicks at the time. Crash and Bob, they kind of like arguing each other, the kayfabe cousins. So in the end, Farouk hit the the Spinebuster, I think it was on Crash or Bob. I think it was Bob Holly for the win. The Acolytes are the number one contenders for the tag team champions. I'll get to more of that when I review when I get to the tag team title match on this review. So besides that, the tag team title match was good. Showcased a lot of tag team wrestling. You know, wasn't like a 4-star instant classic. You know, it was a fun match. You know. To continue, it was a continuation after the opener. So move on to the next match. So the next match, this is for the Hardcore Championship. Big Boss Man defending the belt against Al Snow. I think Boss Man beat out Al Snow, you know, at Fully Loaded. So this is a continuation of that match at Fully Loaded. This time at SummerSlam. This was an okay match. You know, it's a massive decline of the quality after the first 2 matches on the show. They were like fun matches. This was kind of fun, but I think it was similar to their match at Fully Loaded. You know, you had Road Dogg just commentary. You know, instead of on the commentary table, he's just like following Boss Man and Al Snow. By the way, this is revolved around Al Snow's dog Pepper. This is months before the Cattle from Hell. Yeah, it's funny, like, you know, it started when, you know, Bossman attacked, Head, Al Snow's mannequin head, and now this is revolved around the, Al Snow's Chihuahua Pepper. But anyway, so the match was okay. I wish, like I say, it's just similar to their match at Fully Loaded, you know. I think like one more in the match, you know, one of them kind of like trying to crush, one of them trying to tip over a Pepsi machine. It was no Pepsi, it's just an empty Pepsi machine. So anyway, so they're fighting towards inside of the bar, you know. Someone gave the Al Snow, like, I think it was shot glasses and a chain. Road Dogg didn't really help this match, you know. I think they should have, in my opinion, they should have done a triple threat match, make things easier, because Al Snow was not booked in this, not Al Snow, Road Dogg was not booked in this match, you know, because he just recently had that promo battle with Chris Jericho before this match, you know. But anyway, he kind of helped Al Snow win, you know. He kind of like hit Bossman with his nightstick, you know, and Al Snow grabbed 2 pull balls and kind of smash it towards Bossman's balls, his own balls, pin him on the pool table or the snooker table, you know. They call it pool in America, we call it snooker in here. So he pins Bossman on the pool table to win this match and regain the hardcore title. So he didn't really got the belt. He basically left the bar. He's about to go back in the ring, probably collect the hardcore title belt, but instead you got the BWO, the Blue World Order, trying to kidnap Pepper. I think you had Blue Mini and Stevie Richards without Nova. I don't think Nova was in the company at the time. I know he was in the company years later in 2005 when he was Simon Dean, but was in the Attitude Era as Nova? Because how the fuck they allowed to using the BWO, because the BWO was an ECW creation. Because at the time in the 90s, you know, WWF and ECW was in a working relationship, and I think at this moment in time they're no longer with the a working relationship with both almost say WCW, WWF, and ECW, but it's just what it is. So it's just what it is. Sorry, I'm stumbling. But anyway, so you had Al Snow, you know, take out both Meanie and Stevie Richards to rescue Pepper. Yeah, and this is leading up to, I'm guessing, the blow off of this rivalry between Al Snow and Big Boss Man. You had Big Boss Man managed to kidnap Pepper, the Chihuahua, and kill the dog and feed the dog towards Al Snow in a hotel room. You know, it was pepper steak, you know, you had Al Snow vomiting and puking. Yeah, this is leading up to the Cattle from Hell at Unforgiven. You know, I review Unforgiven 99, you know, 4 years ago. I might do a re-review of that show because we're close on the 25th. Next month is the 25th anniversary of that show. I might re-review it of that show, but that match was sucked. It's basically a Hell in a Cell and a steel cage combo. I don't want to get into that, so let's move on to the next match. But besides that, it was an okay match between Al Snow and Big Boss Man. It's just like I said, it's just I feel like it's just it's the same similar match at Fully Loaded. Anyway, so the next match, this is for the Women's Championship. Ivory defending the belt against Tori. Not Tori as in Tori Wilson, but Tori as Terry Power. She debuted early of the year, becoming Sable's fan girl. And then, because at this moment in time, Sable's no longer with the company. She left the company, sued the company. She came back in 2003, part of this this rivalry between Vince and Stephanie. Anyway, so the weeks prior to this, you had Ivory attacking Tori, writing slut and skank around her. I'm gonna be honest, Tori is jacked. Terry Pooch. That's Terry Power, Terry Pooch. Her real name is Terry Pooch. You can tell her she's got a muscly back. The two women in wrestling had good back muscles. I'm gonna say probably Rhea Ripley. Well, actually, Rhea Ripley, Tori. You could say Chyna, she was muscular, but anyway, this match sucked. This is the worst match of the night. I think this is the shortest match of the show. It only lasted about 4 minutes. This sucked. Tori actually, she was green because Ivory and Tori, they wrestled in the 80s. I think Ivory been wrestled since 1986. Tori since 1988. It was like a 2-year gap. But anyway, so Tori was crap. You thought Tori was an untrained wrestler, but she was trained. She wrestled in Japan before she was in WWF. But she was stiff. She was green. She looks green. She looked like stiff as a board. She was hitting these crappy looking kicks towards Ivory. She kind of fucked up a sunflip pin. In the end, Ivory retained her women's title, and afterwards she trying to rip off the Tori's bra. Out comes Luna Vachon to the rescue, and this was Luna's first pay-per-view match for 6 months because she got trouble backstage because she kind of a physical assaulted Sable. I think it was on a house show in 1998. Ivory and Luna have a brief feud for the title, and then Luna end up managing Gangrel because Gangrel and Ivory, Gangrel and Luna were a couple at the time. They were married at the time. So yeah, it was the worst match of the night. I'm glad it didn't outstay its welcome. Yeah, they're both jacked. Both Ivory and Tori were jacked, but there's no chemistry. You thought on paper could be a passable match, but unfortunately that's not really the case. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is the second ever Lions Den match, or actually is it the fourth Lions Den match? That was on free TV, but this is the second ever Lions Den match on pay-per-view. We got the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, taking on the lethal weapon, Steve Blackburn. Wow. The previous month they had the Iron Circle match. It was basically a car lot brawl. That was it. So this match was good. I prefer the previous year's Lions Den match between Ken Shamrock and Owen Hart. I think compared to this, the Shamrock Owen Lions Den match at SummerSlam 98, that was, I think it was a submission based match. But this match was a weapons match. I'm not saying it was bad, but it was a massive drop off of quality. But it was a fun match, using the weapons, nunchucks, beating sticks. It's like if you read a comic of Batman with Nightwing using those sticks, That's how I describe beating sticks, you know, candlesticks, staffs, you know. But I wish they focus more on. I wish they combine a little both of submission base and weapons all in one. I think the Shamrock Blackman match did not live up the hype because I think both styles are similar. You know, with Ken Shamrock, you know, he fought in the UFC. You got Blackman who basically has some background in martial arts. You know, even though they've been wrestling, it's funny they had kind of started their wrestling career in the late 80s. You know, they're both similar, but I don't think there's any chemistry. You know. But anyway, so in the end, Shamrock just basically whacked Blackman with, I think it was the candlestick. Instead of like trying to KO him or make him tapping out, he just left the ring. Or not left the ring, but left the Lion's Den, and that was it. So kind of weird end of this Lion's Den. This is the final Lion's Den match in the company's history. They never brought it back because yeah. The next time they'll do this type of style match will be the Fight Pit 20 years later. But I'm not saying it's a bad match. It was good, but I wish it could be a lot better. They focused more, like doing more submission based. They had glances of this in this match. You know, like I think like Shamrock locking the I think it was a knee bar and the arm bar onto Blackman. While I think one of them had, like still holding on with the nunchucks, but it's just what it is. I'm not saying it was a bad match, you know, it was fun, but I wish they executed a little bit better. And sadly, this was Ken Shamrock's final match in the company, or final pay-per-view match in the company. Originally it was supposed to face Chris Jericho at Unforgiven. That'll be Jericho's first match in the company, but unfortunately, he got hurt. I think he injured his. I thought he. There's rumors like he injured his shoulder, injured his neck, but there's other rumors like he wants to focus more on MMA, going back to MMA. Yeah, he got hurt, and we've never seen Ken Shamrock ever again. It's really a shame for Ken Shamrock, you know. I talk a lot, you know. I'm gonna repeat myself when I did my review of King of the Ring 1998. You know, they wasted on Ken Shamrock, you know. I wish they'd done more with Ken Shamrock, you know. I think it has to do with the the top spot has been taken. You know, I wish if Shamrock you know, showed up years before this, maybe things might work out with Ken, you know. It's a shame, you know. I think he's got a good physique, you know, he's good in the ring, you know. If he'd like stay on, you know, he could have a good match with Jericho, he could probably have a good match with Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. Let me think. I'm trying to think of Dean Malenko. But yeah, he was gone. I think he wrestled in Japan. He wrestled in TNA. You know, won the NWA World Championship in the first ever TNA weekly pay-per-view. He did wrestle in the Indies. He kind of traded back and forth in the run back in the UFC. You know, back in MMA. And the Indies, he came back recently, you know, in our current timeline, a couple of years back, he came back to Impact Wrestling. We got inducted into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. The one person that inducted him into that Hall of Fame was The Rock, because, you know, they feud in 1998. It's a shame. You know, it's just like he got hurt. Maybe they didn't have more. You know, they're trying to. I think they're trying to adapt. He's trying to adapt into the sports entertaining side, and also we've done more research that after Owen's death, I think he just wants to leave because I think he's part of the large crowd. I think he was threatened to leave after Brett got screwed in Montreal in 1997, but he stuck around. You know, he went on to win King of the Ring, win the Intercontinental title in '98. But after Owen died, he got no one else to talk to because he was friends with the Hart brothers. You know, Brett and Owen. But it's just what it is, man. So let's move on to the next match. You know, it's a shame. You know, if Ken Shamrock was stayed fit, you know, what might be, you might have a career renaissance, but it's just what it is. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is a Greenwich, was it Greenwich street fight. But sorry, I can't pronounce it properly. I'm English, but a Greenwich street fight. Tess versus Shane McMahon. So if Tess wins, this is basically a, was it loves her or leave it match? Yeah, loves her or leave her match. What should they call that instead of a Greenwich street fight? So anyway, so yeah, if Tess wins, Tess will continue dating Stephanie. If Shane wins, Tess has to force to break up with Stephanie, never date ever again. This is like they're giving Tess his first storyline, even though he I think he debuted like late 98, early 99, was part of the corporation. So yeah, they're giving Tess his first storyline. This revolves around Stephanie McMahon, who 99 was her debut year as an on-screen character. She was there, part of the 10 salute when Owen died in the Raw was Owen, and then she was part of that whole black wedding segment on Raw, with the Undertaker. Yeah, you can tell like Steph haven't really found her character yet. I'll get to more of that later on, but this revolves around Tess beating up Shane's childhood friends, the Mean Street Posse. Like the Main Street Posse, they kind of injured like their legs, arms, neck. I think Rodney, one of them like wearing like a sling, one of them wear the neck brace, one of them wear the boot. That was the Main Street Posse are Rodney, Pete Gas, and Joey Abs. This match was fun. This was a really good match. It was a good brawling match. Good street fight. They use like a mailbox, as a weapon. One of them used like, I think it was Shane kind of hit Tess with a photo frame of him and the Main Street Posse because they were childhood friends, before they became wrestlers. So it was a fun match, but they kind of hurt it with the Main Street Posse, being down Tess. They hurt it a little bit, Shane. Kind of put Tess through the announce table with the diving elbow off the top rope. It's the first time Shane ever used that move. First of many. I compare Shane is a daredevil wrestler. Doing daredevil moves. Him and Jeff Hardy are using them as daredevil moves. They do these risk taking moves. That was the first time of Shane using that like doing like a move off the top rope or any like, it's funny, like 1 year later at SummerSlam 2000 he ended up like doing this spot like against Steve Blackman, like jumping off the pay-per-view set, and then recently in 2017 he jumped off the Hell in a Cell. You could tell like people kind of like Shane's matches, even though he's not known for in-ring moves. He's more like taking these like high risk moves. So anyway, so out comes the mainstream posse, not mainstream posse, the Stooges, Patterson and Gerald Briscoe helping Tess, take out members of the mainstream posse. In the end, Tess got the victory. Stephanie and Tess and they still continue dating. This is lead up to Stephanie having amnesia. Memory loss. If you're not familiar with that, this is leading up that November on Raw. I think it was on Raw. With Triple H. Marrying Stephanie when Stephanie's unconscious. I'm guessing she was drugged. And that was really change of Tess's presentation, his future in the company. I think they were planning to push Tess, but for whatever reason, they really dropped the ball on Tess. He was kind of there. He's a big man, in factions, but like if they didn't do this segment on Raw with Triple H marrying Stephanie unconscious, would they still continue to do this storyline with like Tess like dating Stephanie after Stephanie get her memory back, and then you know, what might have been. We don't know. It's just what it is. I don't want to get into it. But besides that, this match was good. It was fun. Despite all the mainstream posse, you know, trying to help Shane win this match to make sure Taz will never date Stephanie ever again. But I think you know, sometimes doing these soap opera storylines, it could be a hit or miss, but this was kind of good, you know. Sometimes doing this love interest storyline, like I said, it could be a hit or a miss, you know. Next time they, like, this is the first of 3, you know. I'm talking about in kayfabe, you know. I'm guessing Tess and Stephanie did date, you know, in real life for a little bit, but mostly in kayfabe. But 3 times, you know, like Stephanie ended up doing a love interest storyline, you know, later on in the year with Triple H, you know, that kicked off the McMahon-Helmsley era, and then a year later, this love triangle storyline between her, Triple H, and Kurt Angle. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, I can't remember the finish of the match. It's been 2 days since I watched the show, so it's what it is. So the next match, this is for the WWF Tag Team Championships. X-Pac and Kane defending the belts against The Undertaker and The Big Show, the Unholy Alliance. So, Kane and X-Pac won the belts against the Acolytes. I'll get to more of that shortly after this match. So, the reason why Big Show teaming up with The Undertaker to make sure they had that winning feeling. It's funny, they've like briefly feud over the WWF Championship. That was in the summer of '99. That was, I think it was after Owen passed away. That was the build up to, I think it was Undertaker's match against The Rock at that year's King of the Ring. So anyway, you know, X-Pac and Kane, like I said, were tag team champions. They're doing this storyline. They're like friends. And funny that they won the tag team belts in March of that year. I'm talking about 1999. So they are 2 times tag team champions. So anyway, so the match was fun. I really liked this match. Good back and forth between both guys. You know, Big Show, Paul White was unexperienced because he's been in the business for 4 years. You know, he debuted in WCW. You know, still green. He was WCW champion, I think it was twice. Still green. And he got better. Don't worry, he got better. But I think in this match, you got, you know, Kane was, yeah, you could say he's a good worker. But you got the really good workers of The Undertaker and X-Pac, Charles Waltman, kind of carry the load. Anyway, so I'm trying to keep it short and simple. You know, in the end, you had Big Show. I think he chokeslammed X-Pac. He did like a cocky pin, not the Jericho pin. He does like the most muscular pose. You know, putting his foot on the opponent's chest and did the muscular pose. No, he kind of like put his foot on X-Pac's chest and did the Richard Nixon pose. You know, did a cocky pin. X-Pac probably kicked out. Undertaker got pissed off towards the Big Show. In the end, Undertaker hit the Tombstone Power Driver onto X-Pac for the win. Big Show and Kane are the tag team champions. I think that's pointless. What's the point of having X-Pac and Kane becoming the tag team champions on a Raw weeks before the show? They end up dropping the belts on the pay-per-view. I understand why, storyline purposes, you know, and it kind of accomplished it, you know. And I think it's funny, like when the Acolytes, they will face the Acolytes the next night on Raw, and quick result, you know. They lost, you know. I'm talking about the Acolytes, you know, losing the tag team belts, lost the tag team title match against the Big Show and the Undertaker, the Unholy Alliance. And funny that, you know, Undertaker and Big Show end up losing the tag team titles. I think it was a week later to the debut of the Rock and Sock Connection. Yeah, this was the Undertaker's last pay-per-view match for 1 whole year because originally, he was supposed to compete in the 6-pack challenge at Unforgiven. Unfortunately, he suffered a groin injury. He came back at Judgment Day 2000 as the American Badass, and the rest itself is history. Before that, you know, he was like, I think he was starting to develop that character before he got hurt. You know, he ended up coming out wearing biker gear. So I'm guessing this slowly breaking way of having the Undertaker being this supernatural character. He's been doing it since he debuted at Survivor Series of 1990. Yeah, he's slowly getting away from it. You know, what if I think he was going to take some time off if he didn't got hurt. You know, we don't know, but it's just what it is. So, you know, like if Undertaker didn't got hurt, you know, I don't think he'll compete at WrestleMania 16. I think he'll probably take some time off anyway. You know, he'll probably debut anyway. But yeah, I think Undertaker taking time off was a blessing in disguise. He ended up, like I said, he returned at Judgment Day. You know, got involved in the Iron Man match between Rock and Triple H. If you want more information about this, go watch my review of Judgment Day 2000. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. So the next match, we got a Kiss My Ass match. We got The Rock taking on the 1999 King of the Ring winner, Mr. Ass, Badass Billy Gunn. So, like I said, Billy Gunn won the 99 King of the Ring tournament. This is weeks prior. This was on Heat. The Rock cut that infamous promo. You know, he's reenacting Billy Gunn speaking to God. You know, he did like he said, "Bob, my name's Billy," and say, "He doesn't know what your name is." He did the similar that to John Cena a decade later. That was a Facebook video because at the time he did Facebook, and then years later he did YouTube. You know, a couple of years later, I don't know, he's on TikTok. You know, Rock is like becoming a master of social media. But anyway, so I think that promo kind of did Billy Gunn dirty. You know, he never recovered after that promo. So I don't want to get into that. You know, I think it's not just the promo. I'm speculating they're not really booking Billy Gunn to be like a potential world champion. It's funny that, you know, with the King of the Ring winners, and they're not got a world title match, you know, like previous guys, like, you know, it's funny, like Steve Austin and Triple H, you know, they went on to win King of the Ring, they end up becoming main event players, you know, and then, you know, you can say Kurt Angle ended up winning King of the Ring, main event player, Edge, you know, but with Shamrock and Billy Gunn, they're unlucky ones. Yeah, but Baron Corbin never received a title shot. Same as Wade Barrett. Same as you know, like same as Xavier Woods. I don't want to get into it, but King Barrett. But it's just what it is. I don't want to get in it. But I think with Billy Gunn, you know, I'll get more of that later on. But I think they're just like, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. But anyway, so he came out with a mysterious person under a sheet. And that mysterious person is a fat woman. Kiss My Ass match. Next time they'll do this type of match will be Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler 16 years later in 2015. I don't want to get into that. Kiss My Ass. That is just... Or Kiss My Ass. You know, using the American terms of backside. We call it arse with A-R-S-E. They call ass A-S-S. But anyway, so yeah. I'll get to why Billy Gunn's push or kind of push failed after this match. So I thought when I watched this match is going to suck. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This match was good, not great, but good. It was a good back and forth between The Rock and Billy Gunn. They're fighting they're kind of like fighting the fight towards the lion's den. It was a good brawl in the whole bulk of the match. You know, good back and forth. You know. Billy Gunn hit the famouser on The Rock, you know. He injured Rock's nose. I think it was a stiff splash onto the corner, and Rock, there's blood towards The Rock's nose. The Rock was pissed, absolute pissed, you know. He gave Billy Gunn a receipt, you know, with a stiff clothesline, you know. In the end, you know, you thought, like, the tease, like, The Rock's face, it's going to be in the fat woman's ass, but unfortunately, that's not the case. You know, you had The Rock, you know, basically shoving Billy Gunn's face onto the fat woman's ass, you know, and also like the woman's like knickers got a hole in them, and also JR and the King was bashing the woman, body shaming. You know, I'm using the quotes, you know, for the SGW out there. It's just like, The Rock, basically, JR and the King just really, they're basically bashing the fat woman, I don't want to get into it. So in the end, The Rock hit the rock bottom and the people's elbow onto Billy Gunn for the win. I feel sorry for Billy Gunn. You thought 99 will be his year, because he was supposed to be in the Intercontinental title picture. Unfortunately, did the switch around leading up to WrestleMania 15. Now they broke up with Road Dogg. He won the 1999 King of the Ring. You thought he's going to get like a future title shot. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I think he lost in his first pay-per-view match after he won King of the Ring. He lost a tag team match. He teaming up with Chyna over the rights of DX, and now he lost to The Rock at this show. I don't think it might be booking, but I think the reason why this kind of push with Billy Gunn did not work, it might be booking, but I think it's Billy Gunn. It didn't end up the end of the bargain. So I don't hate on Billy, but I think Billy just doesn't have it. I don't think he cut the mustard to be a singles guy. People don't talk about people don't really talk about Billy Gunn's singles title reign. He ended up becoming Hardcore Champion. 1 year later, he ended up becoming the Intercontinental Champion. And people don't talk about Billy Gunn as a single star. He's mostly socialized as a tag team guy, teaming up with Bart Gunn, Road Dogg, and then a couple of years later, he's teaming up with Chuck Palumbo, Billy and Chuck, and in our current timeline, he's now teaming up with the Acclaim in AEW. But you never fits. People talk about Billy Gunn as a single star. He's got a good physique, but he's just. I think it's just I used to describe of the Rockers. One tag team partner end up being at Shawn Michaels' position, having a good career, becoming a future world champion, a future main event star like Shawn Michaels, Edge, Jeff Hardy, The Miz, he was good. Bully Ray, in TNA. And then you got the Marty Jannetty, from Matt Hardy. You could say Christian, even though Christian being world champion, but Edge had a more successful career than Christian. Devon. The list go on and on and on. You could say Shelton Benjamin had a good career, even though he's never been world champion. Eddie Edwards was world champion. Davey Richard, not so much, but for Billy Gunn, he's never broke that mold. I think he's typecast. He's just typecast, pigeonholed, and stick as the Titan guy he's just a Titan guy. Once a Titan guy, always a Titan guy. As The Rock, for me, the whole bulk of 99, the first half he was the WWF champion. He's in the main event picture. It's funny, in the spring and the summer of 99, he ended up away from the world title in the mid card. Then he was in the tag team with Mankind. He ended up being back in the world title picture at Survivor Series, and again in the year 2000. So it's just he's trying to get The Rock away from the main event picture. Even though The Rock is still the rising star. It's just what it is. I don't want to get into that. So let's move on to the main event. Before they get to this, I'm going to talk about the pay-per-view set for this show. Disappointed, despite the Lion's Den sets. They're trying to capitalize on UFC because UFC back then wasn't popular compared right now. It was not I think at the time it's not popular than pro wrestling. I think back then pro wrestling and boxing was more popular than MMA. It was still a new sport. Right now it's a sport. But anyway, the pay-per-view set was disappointed compared to SummerSlam 1998, the Highway to Hell. Because the Highway to Hell pay-per-view sets, that was at Madison Square Garden at the time. That pay-per-view set was good, with the Hell's Gates, or the Gates of Hell. That was good. But this was just, very lack of design. It's just what it is, man. Anyway, let's move on to the main event. So the main event, we got a triple threat match for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the Smoking Skull Belt against Triple H and Mankind with Jesse the Body Ventura as the special guest referee. How we get there? How Jesse Ventura, because at the time he was the governor of Minnesota, is the special guest referee. Because at this moment in time, before this, Jesse left the WWF on very bad terms. This is going around the 80s and the 90s, but mostly in the 90s, the start of the 1990s, he left the company before SummerSlam 1990 because he signed a deal with a game developer that was Sega to produce a non-WWF wrestling game. Vince got pissed off. He demanded a cut. I think Jesse said no. I'm speculating, guys. So Jesse quit the company, and then 4 years later after that, he kind of sued Vince and the WWF for video royalties. And then I'm guessing for this match, as a special guest referee, I'm guessing he kind of patched things up with Vince, to do this, And he said it in shoot interviews that the reason why he's doing this gig to rub it towards Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan's face because he left the WWF in 1990. I think it was 91 or 92. He ended up going to WCW, become the color commentator for that company for a few years, and then in 1994 when Hulk Hogan came along, because Hogan and Ventura were best friends, but instead they falling out, because I think this was in the mid 80s, by the way. This is before WrestleMania 2. Jesse Ventura was starting doing this union, a labor union, and Hogan really snitched towards. He's kind of snitched Ventura. Like I said, this is before WrestleMania 2. He snitched Ventura, and that was the reason why Jesse Ventura despised Hulk Hogan. And also he despised Eric Bischoff because in 1994 he got fired from WCW because he was caught sleeping on a TV taping. Sorry, get my words out. I need a drink, man. My throat's a bit dry. I'm gonna say it again. So yeah, the reason why Jesse got fired from WCW, he was caught sleeping on a TV taping. It was on an episode of Worldwide. So he left after Bash of the Beach, the first Bash of the Beach. I might do a re-review of that show, I think later this week, so stay tuned for that. So anyway, so he left. He not just left WCW, he left wrestling altogether until came back for this show, SummerSlam 99, as the special guest referee. He ended up he kind of quit wrestling to pursue a career in politics, become the mayor of Minnesota. So how we get there? So Triple H won I think he won a No One Contenders match at Belly Legal to face the world champion at SummerSlam. It was supposed to be Austin versus Triple H for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. So unfortunately, this is morphed into a triple threat match, put in The Undertaker instead. And then after that, they put China in this match, China beat Triple H, I think it was a triple threat match, Triple H, China, and The Undertaker. Yeah, China pinning Triple H outside the ring. So I think Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee, because at the time Shawn Michaels was the commissioner of the World Wrestling Federation at the time. So anyway, so China is number one contender, and then they had this segment. They were teasing there's going to be a breakup between China and Triple H, even though they were dating at the time. This is before the whole situation with Stephanie McMahon. So Triple H calling China, "You're an ungrateful bitch," and then you had China defeating Triple H again to retain her number one contendership. So, and then also Mick Foley came back. He came back from, I think it was knee surgery. He had problems with his knee, so he came back. I'm guessing he beat China to get a shot at the World Wrestling Federation Championship. So, still a triple threat match. Instead of China, it's just Steve Austin, Triple H, and Mankind. I'm speculating at the time, folks. I'm speculating the original plans. It was supposed to be, I think there were plans to put in the world title belt onto China, because at the time he was doing this, she was starting fighting against men. So I think there were plans to put the belt on her, maybe on this show, maybe down the road. But unfortunately, plans did not pan out. So it's funny, 20 years later, Impact Wrestling beat WWE to the punch, when Impact put the world title belt onto Tessa Blanchard. So I'm guessing maybe it is not believable. Maybe I don't want to get into that. So So yeah, it's just what it is, man. It was like a crazy way to leading up to this match at SummerSlam 1999. So anyway, so like there was some segments before, like like there's segments on the show. Yeah, Jesse kind of telling the competitors in this triple threat match, like he's not pulling his shit. When Jesse kind of like telling Austin laugh. Anyway, the match was, I call it match of the night, man. Really good match. It was really a fun triple threat match. I think Jesse kind of helped this match. You had some moments of the match, or before the start of this match, you had Jesse and Triple H kind of getting each other's, they're kind of butting heads, because, he's trying to, like, authoritize this match, you don't want any shenanigans, like, chair shots or something like that, you kind of like moments of the match, you had, Jesse kicking China out of ringside, kind of ramming, Mankind's balls onto the ring post, yeah, it was a really good match, it was like the first portion of the match, it was Stone Cold and Mankind, like ganging up on Triple H, and then this is moved into like, I think I had Mankind Triple H, this is their first interaction in the ring, one-on-one since their rivalry in 1997. Anyway, I think it was Mankind and Austin's first interaction in the ring since the start of 99. This is before WrestleMania 15, by the way, so, anyway, so... And then it was mostly Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was supposed to be the original plan. But anyway, so the whole bulk of the match, you had Triple H working on the leg of Austin. Ramming his leg onto the ring post. One more of the match, he kind of hitting Austin's leg with the chair. And you had Ventura and Triple H butting heads. You kind of show, do you use that chair? And Triple H said no. Did he use the chair? You kind of asked the fans said yes, Anyway, so, he did use the chair onto, on Austin. I think Austin, yeah, it was Austin, yeah, Austin kind of pins, he pins, Mankind. I think it hit Mankind with the stunner, going for the pin. Triple H smacked Austin in the back with the chair, hit Mankind on the head with the chair, and then when Triple H trying to pin Mankind, Jesse kind of like Jesse Ventura kind of refused to do that. I think it was entertaining. I think he helped this match. Because Ventura is taking no shit. They kind of like bleeped out the swearing. It's like that was bullshit. And then out comes Shane McMahon come along, get into Jesse's face, why he's not, doing the free count, and then Jesse kind of you had Austin hit Shane with the Stone Cold Stunner, and then you had Austin kind of Jesse Ventura throwing Shane out of the ring, and then Austin, Jesse says, this one's for you, old man, you little bastard, because I think at the time he's still on bad terms with the company. He only did this gig to, like I said, rub it in Bischoff and Hogan's face. And the funny part of this match, after Shane got thrown out of the ring, Austin's leg was cut off. He kind of was caught towards the top and middle rope. It's not on the same level as Bret's neck was caught on between the top and middle rope. In the Bret's match against The Undertaker at One Night Only 1997. So anyway, Triple H kind of helped him get out of the ropes. Anyway, so in the end, I think Triple H hit the pedigree onto Austin, and then Mankind hit I think it was the double winged DDT. I think it was the winged hook DDT. I don't know. It's similar to Drew McIntyre's Future Shot DDT. To win this match and become the WWF champion for the third time, And afterwards, Triple H attacked Austin leg even more, like smashing it with the chair, choking him out with the chair, because Austin was working hurt at the time. This was the way to run off Austin off the storylines for really 1 month later, because he kind of returned 1 month later to become the special guest enforcer for the six-pack challenge match at Unforgiven. And then this is set up Triple H and Austin 1-on-1 at No Mercy, and this was the way, and that was the brief he took a brief for 1 month, and then at Survivor Series in November of that year, you know, he got run over the carts, waited to ring of Austin for a whole year until he get neck surgery. I think I did a review of Survivor Series 99. I might do a re-review of that show because we're getting close to the 25th anniversary of that show. My overall rating of SummerSlam 1999 is an 8 out of 10. It's back and forth of giving it like an 8.5 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. I think 8 out of 10 is a fair result for this SummerSlam. Some like other content creators give it like 7 out of 10 or 7.5 out of 10. But to be frankly, it's a little unfair. But I think it is a fun SummerSlam, a good SummerSlam. Yeah, it's a drop off in quality of Highway to Hell from the previous year's SummerSlam, but it was a fun SummerSlam to watch. You know, underrated in my opinion. It starts out really good with the Eurocontinental title match. You know, it was a decent, fun opener. Ends well in the triple threat match. The only match I put in the bad is the women's title match between Ivory versus Tori. Tori was trash, you know, bland as a character, you know. She was gone, you know. She didn't really cut it, you know. She never adapted to the sports entertainment environment of a professional wrestler. I'm not going to put the Road Dogg Chris Jericho segment in the bad or the okay. To be fair, it did do nothing for me because why didn't watch this show? This is 2024, not 1999, but it was an okay segment. The only match I put in the okay is the hardcore title match between Big Boss Man versus Al Snow. The undercard was good. You had a fun opener, you know, in D'Lo Brown versus Jeff Jarrett, the Eurocontinental title match. I enjoyed the tag team title match, you know, X-Pac Kane versus Big Show and The Undertaker. The tag team turmoil match. The Lions Den match was fun. It was fun. Test versus Shane was fun to watch, you know. Rock versus Billy Gunn. I thought this was going to be a bad match, but instead it was a fun match, you know. And the main event was fun to watch, you know. Jesse Ventura as the special guest referee, you know. Yeah, it was a fun SummerSlam show. Underrated, you know. I advise watching SummerSlam 99. It's a really good show to watch. So, what's your thoughts on SummerSlam 99? Do you like this review? Please leave your thoughts on the comment section below. Smash the like button. Click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, let's do another 14 poll for the next classic SummerSlam review. Your 4 choices are SummerSlam 90, The Ultimate Warrior's first pay-per-view title defense as the World Champion against Ravishing Rick Rude in the Steel Cage, and also Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake. Your second choice is SummerSlam 2003, Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle, and also you got the Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight title. Your third choice, SummerSlam 2007, Great Khali versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship, and also you got John Cena versus Randy Orton. And your final choice, SummerSlam 2009, Kane versus Great Khali, John Cena versus Randy Orton again for the WWE Championship, and also the TLC match for the World Heavyweight Championship between CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy. Those are those choices. Until then, this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later, folks.